My beloved child, today I want to reveal to you a truth that is often overlooked, a truth that is critical to your journey of faith. This is what happens when you don't pray. You see, prayer is not just a ritual. It is not just a series of words spoken into the air. Prayer is the lifeline that connects you to me. It is like an oxygen mask on an airplane. You need it to survive the turbulence of life. Without it, you are suffocating spiritually, and the consequences are far more serious than you may realize. Stay with me until the very end, because what I am about to reveal may shock you, but it will also open your eyes to the true power of prayer and what happens when you neglect it. There are times in your life when you feel overwhelmed, when the weight of the world is pressing down on your shoulders. In those moments, you may be tempted to carry that burden alone, to rely on your own strength. Imagine dealing with a job loss or a family conflict, feeling like you have to shoulder all the weight yourself. But my child, without prayer, you are fighting battles you were never meant to fight alone. In Matthew 11, verse 28, I say, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." When you do not pray, you are refusing to bring your burdens to me. You are refusing the rest that I am offering you. You are choosing to carry a weight that is too heavy, and over time, it will crush your spirit. Prayer is the way you lay your burdens at my feet, the way you allow me to carry them for you. Without it, you are left to struggle on your own, and that is not what I want for you. Think about the story of the Israelites in the wilderness, Exodus 17, 8-13. They were attacked by the Amalekites, and as they fought, Moses stood on the hill with his hands raised in prayer. As long as Moses held his hands up, the Israelites were winning. But whenever he lowered his hands, the Amalekites began to prevail. My child, this is the power of prayer. When Moses prayed, when he reached out to me, the Israelites were victorious. But when his hands fell, when the prayer stopped, the enemy began to win. When you do not pray, you are like the Israelites with Moses' hands lowered. You are vulnerable, you are exposed, and the enemy begins to gain ground in your life. Imagine standing in the middle of a battlefield without any armor or shield. That is what it feels like without prayer. Prayer is your weapon, it is your defense. Without it, you are leaving yourself open to attack. Without it, you are leaving yourself open to attack. Another consequence of not praying is that you lose the ability to hear my voice. Prayer is not just about speaking to me, it is also about listening. It is like tuning a radio to the right frequency so that you can hear my voice amidst the noise. In John 10:27, Jesus says, "My sheep listen to my voice. I know them, and they follow me." But how can you hear my voice if you do not make time to listen? Without prayer, your life becomes filled with noise, the noise of the world, the noise of your own thoughts, the noise of fear and doubt. Prayer is the way you quiet that noise, the way you make room for my voice to speak into your heart. When you do not pray, you are cutting yourself off from my guidance, from the wisdom that you need to navigate the challenges of life. You are like a ship without a compass, drifting aimlessly, without direction. Let me share with you the story of King Hezekiah, 2 Kings 21-6. Hezekiah was told by the prophet Isaiah that he was going to die, that he should put his house in order. But Hezekiah did not accept this fate without coming to me. He turned his face to the wall and prayed, weeping before me, pleading for more time. Imagine the desperation in Hezekiah's heart, the tears streaming down his face as he poured out his soul to me. And I heard his prayer. I saw his tears and I added 15 years to his life. My child, this is what happens when you pray. Prayer changes things. It moves mountains. It shifts circumstances. It opens doors that seem impossible to open. But when you do not pray, you are missing out on the miracles that I want to work in your life. You are missing out on the blessings, on the healing, on the breakthroughs that I have for you. Prayer is the key that unlocks those blessings, and without it, the door remains closed. If you are finding strength and understanding in my words, I invite you to subscribe. Let me be a constant presence in your life, reminding you daily of the power of prayer and the love I have for you. Together we will walk this journey of faith, and I will never let you walk alone. Another story that shows the power of prayer is the story of Daniel in the lion's den. Daniel 6:10-23. Daniel prayed to me 3 times a day, even when it was forbidden by the king. He knew the importance of prayer. He knew that without it, he was vulnerable. Imagine the fear Daniel must have felt as he faced the lions, knowing that his only hope was my protection. But it was his prayers, his unwavering faith in me, that kept him safe. I sent my angel to shut the mouths of the lions, and Daniel walked out of that den unharmed. My child, when you pray, you invite my protection into your life. You invite my presence to surround you, to keep you safe from the enemy. But when you do not pray, you are stepping into the lion's den without my protection, without my presence. You are leaving yourself exposed to the dangers, to the attacks that are waiting to devour you. Think about the story of Elijah on Mount Carmel, 1 Kings 18:20-39. Elijah prayed to me and I answered by sending fire from heaven to consume the sacrifice. Imagine the boldness it took for Elijah to stand before all the people and pray, trusting that I would answer. The prophets of Baal had been praying to their false god all day, but there was no answer, no response. But when Elijah prayed, I answered with power and might. My child, when you pray, you are calling on the one who has the power to do the impossible. You are calling on the one who can send fire from heaven, who can make a way where there seems to be no way. But when you do not pray, you are relying on your own strength, on your own abilities, and they will never be enough. Prayer is the way you tap into my power, the way you invite me to work in your life. Without it, you are limiting yourself. You are cutting yourself off from the power that is available to you. Another consequence of not praying is that you lose the peace that only I can give. In Philippians 4:6-7, it says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." My child, when you pray, you are inviting my peace into your heart. Imagine someone struggling with anxiety about their future, feeling overwhelmed and lost. When you pray, you are allowing me to calm the storm, to quiet the fears, to bring you rest. But when you do not pray, you are left with your anxiety, with your worries, with your fears. You are trying to face the storms of life without the anchor of my peace, and it will leave you feeling overwhelmed and lost. Prayer is the way you anchor yourself to me, the way you find peace in the midst of the chaos. Without it, you are left adrift, tossed by the waves of fear and uncertainty. Think about the story of Hannah, 1 Samuel 1:9-20. Hannah was deeply troubled because she could not have children. She came to my temple, and she prayed with all her heart, pouring out her soul before me. Her prayer was so intense, so raw, that Eli the priest thought she was drunk. Imagine Hannah's emotional vulnerability, the depth of her pain and the intensity of her plea. But I heard her prayer and I answered her. I gave her a son, Samuel, who would go on to be a great prophet. My child, when you pray, you are pouring out your heart to me. You're opening yourself up to my love, to my healing, to my power. But when you do not pray, you are keeping all of that pain, all of that struggle inside. You are not allowing me to heal you, to comfort you, to bring you the blessings that I have for you. Prayer is the way you release your burdens, the way you invite me into your pain. And without it, you are left to carry that pain alone. As we come to the end of this message, I want you to take a moment to reflect. Are there areas in your life where you have stopped praying? Are there battles you are fighting on your own, burdens you are carrying without my help? My child, I want you to take a moment to write down your struggles, to bring them to me in prayer. I want you to come back to me. I want you to open your heart to me in prayer, to allow me to carry your burdens, to fight your battles, to bring you the peace, the guidance, the protection that you need. Comment below and say, I will pray without ceasing. Let your words be a declaration of faith, a statement that you are choosing to reconnect with me, to make prayer a priority in your life. If this message has touched your heart, if you feel my voice calling you, I invite you to like this video. By liking it, You are not only affirming your faith, but also helping others find this message of hope and truth. Let's spread this message to those who need it, to those who are struggling, to those who feel like giving up. Together, we can be a light in the darkness. My beloved, prayer is not just a ritual. It is not just words spoken into the air. It is your lifeline. It is your connection to me. It is the way you invite my power, my peace, my protection into your life. Do not neglect it. Do not let the busyness of life, the distractions of the world keep you from praying. Stay with me, talk to me, listen to my voice, and you will see the incredible ways in which I am working for you. Stay with me, and I promise you, you will be blessed beyond measure.